And ladies and gentlemen, we are live here at, as you can see, Ebisu Circuit. Welcome to Formula Drift Japan Round 2. We're here today at Ebisu Circuit, as I mentioned, Nishi course for the second round of the 2017 series. As you can see in the background there, great weather here today. A little bit windy though. It's almost expletive-inducing amounts of wind here right now. Hello, my name is Alexi Smith. I'll be your commentator today. I'm here with Ryan Sage, all the way from the United States. Really great to be here today. Watch a full day, top 32, all day today. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's a much more beautiful and calming day, even though the wind is still quite gusty than yesterday. Quick story, yesterday when we finished up the event, at about 9 o'clock, this tent, the electrical, the sound, the merchandise booth, all went bye-bye.
Right.
And the staff was here at 3 o'clock in the morning to reset everything. So it's been a pretty crazy event, starting off yesterday with a tremendous amount of rain, about a quarter through qualifying, which put us into an interesting situation where we had recon laps, guys going out, trying to put down a qualifying wrap. We have pretty much a full field. We have one bye for our number one qualifier, with a couple guys not able to get those scored runs. But overall, an eventful day yesterday, much better today. Skies are pretty much clear with a few random clouds, and we've got a nice breeze coming through here. But at least we're going to see dry conditions, and of course, always expecting amazing drifting.
Yeah, the dry conditions are the most important part, as you mentioned yesterday. Yeah, you can see there in the background, those mountains in the background there, just behind Ebisu Circuit. Clouds come rolling in over there and bring with them wind and rain, and which we saw yesterday. Track surface very wet, but also drying up. The conditions were changing literally every 2 or 3 runs. So for the drivers yesterday, very difficult conditions, resulting in a few drivers, for example, getting double zeros on their runs, which is unfortunate to see. But as you mentioned, Ryan, we have a almost full field here today. We're going to start very shortly. Actually, there we are. Hello. You see this tent that we're in? This thing was about to lift off the ground yesterday, which resulted in some rather colourful language from all concerned. It was seriously very concerning, because literally right in front of us, we are right in front of the course. There's a cliff right in front of us too. So machinery was going flying everywhere yesterday. Not fun conditions, but
and it eventually died last night, from what Mr. Iwata was saying.
Well, yeah, as you mentioned, the staff here since 3 a.m. We got to leave a little bit later from the hotel, but all the other staff had to get here when it was still dark to set everything back up. But as you can see, it's all been set up. They've worked very hard all morning, and we're here now. We're about to begin the top 32 of round 2 Formula Drift Japan series. See there on the start line, that is your number one qualifier, Andrew Gray. So this is going to be his bye run. Of course, as the rules of Formula Drift, even if you have a bye run, you do have to complete a run successfully to continue through to the top 16. So if you're not a fan of bye runs, don't worry, this is going to be the only one in this top 32. You can see there Andrew Gray putting down a nice solid run in his JZX100 Chaser. Lots of smoke coming out from the back of that car. Great conditions, great location here at Ebisu Circuit. The drifting heaven. They mentioned on the commercial you just saw there before, was it the sacred land of drift?
Yes, wonderful way to word it. This shot here shows a pretty good overview of the course layout. We do have the chicane. You can see back there, Mad Mike warming up for his battle here against Yamamoto. A relatively short run-up, but what the judges were really asking for here is full throttle all the way into initiation. We've got 3 standing initiation cones, which are about 30 feet apart. Most of the drivers are initiating by the second standing cone, and we'll take a look there. We've got one big outer zone right after initiation into an inside clip, a second outer zone, and then a third outer zone, and the final inside clip around the corner. And that pretty much makes our layout here. It's a pretty dynamic course. It does go downhill. There is a section near the first or the last inside clip that's a little bit off camber. And we do have the painted curb surfaces near the outer zones, and they are extremely slippery when they do get wet, but there is some rubber laid down on it, so the grip level is pretty good right now. But you never know what to expect here at Ebisu, but at least we know we're probably not going to get any rain.
Today the weather report says no rain, so we'll put up with the wind. As you can see there, the flags waving in the background. we'll put up with that for now, because that means we get to see battles in the dry. And here is last year's winner of this round here at Ebisu Circuit Nishi course, Mad Mike Woodette in the quad rotor. So we have a Dorito battle here now. Quad rotor versus 13B. Yamamoto versus Woodette. Okay, here we go. First battle of round 2. And then here they come down the straight. See, initiating, both guys initiating. Mad Mike matching Yamamoto's speed, line, and angle. Mike tucking in right there. Mad Mike right on Yamamoto's door. Watch him flick back here. Second, third outer zone into the hairpin. Mad Mike stuck with him pretty much all the way and over the finish line. That's a great start to the day here for round 2. Yamamoto versus Woodette.
Well, a lot of expectations for Mike. He did not have the greatest event in Suzuka with car problems, but he is the defending winner here at Ebisu. So a lot of people watching out for his performance. He got caught up in the rain yesterday. He had a 0 on his first run, was able to come down and lay down a second run and get qualified, but not as high as he wants. But here in the tandem run, you can see he's putting down a lot of pressure on Yamamoto. Yamamoto, decent lead run there, a good start by both drivers, but the key there, that Mike maintaining pressure, looking to mimic the lead driver is what the judges want. Mike did a pretty good job of that. Now they'll go back and regrid, switch positions. Mad Mike will take the lead, try to better Yamamoto's lead run, and Yamamoto will have to keep the pressure on Mike Woodette if he wants to take the win or force a one more time.
Yeah, Mike's runs last year here at Ebisu Circuit Nishi course, definitely top of the highlight reel for last year's competition. His runs were absolutely amazing last year. The car, the driver, everything came together. Of course, his battles with Masashi Yokoi were some of the best we've ever seen in the Japanese series.
No doubt.
But unfortunately, Yokoi not here this weekend, as unfortunately has commitments elsewhere. We really would have liked to see him out here again. Maybe see some reruns between him and Mad Mike, like what we saw last year. But yeah, Mike this year, the car working okay, but yeah, he's not very happy with his qualifying position over on the left side of the bracket. Potential of getting knocked out early on in the competition is way too high for his liking. But as always, it is what it is. And you have to play the cards as they fall. So we have this run now. Second run, Mad Mike, right of screen. Junji Yamamoto, left of screen. Rotary battle. This is a fairly rare thing to see. Here we go, we're about to run the second one this time. Mad Mike, right of screen. He'll be going through the chicane and leading the run. And they come down the straight, up to the gears. Mad Mike initiating really early. Yamamoto a little bit shallow. Maybe a tactic to try and keep up with Mike. Mad Mike pulling ahead away from Yamamoto as well. The proximity nowhere near. Yamamoto throwing it too hard, cutting the course. Yamamoto throwing it too hard down into the final hairpin and cutting the course.
Well, you can see the momentum that Mike carries through that outer zone number 1 into inside clip number 1. Big initiation there, nice snap. You can see right there he's back on throttle pretty quickly. He's going to overshoot inside clip of 1 a little bit, and that gives Yamamoto an opportunity, but he can't seize on it. Yamamoto falls back, and then right here makes a big mistake, over angles, and goes on the inside of that last clipping point, going off course. So this should be an easy win here for Mike after making not many mistakes in his chase run, looking really good there. But Yamamoto, a big error in his chase, and that should be a win for Mad Mike.
Yeah, I think the result here should be fairly obvious. That was a massive mistake there for Yamamoto. I think he could have trusted Mike's driving a bit more and gotten a bit closer, but there we go. 1, 2, Robbie Nishida, Ryan Lantain, Andy Yen. Judges 1, 2, 3. Mad Mike Woodette moving on to the top 16. I think he's going to be very happy about that. But you know what that means? He's up against Andy Gray.
Yeah, I was just seeing that.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And you can see that in the background, a tent just going for a vacation. It's had enough.
It's done.
It's flipped the table.
That's been a common. Actually, they've been pretty good about anchoring the tents down here.
Yeah.
But I was expecting at least a few casualties, and that was probably, I think, our second one of the day.
That looks like, whose tent is that? That's the Supermade tent, I think, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, they're just, you can see they're getting it back over the pit wall. All right. Next run now. Shenyang there to your right of screen. So Nian versus Kawashima. So a big body Toyota battle straight from an FD RX-7 rotary battle to a Toyota sedan battle. And also, I apologize for the wind sound. I know it must sound horrible.
There's actually quite nothing we can do about it because we can't put this side down because then the judges can't see. So
that's right.
You at home will have to suffer along with us because it's in our ears as well.
I'll have to just sort of turn my head to the right slightly. Okay, here we go. Next battle now. Nian in the foreground versus Kawashima. Up through the gears. Shengnian fairly middle of the course entry, allowing Kawashima to sort of catch up with him. Now see if they can both put the power down. Shengnian powering ahead. Kawashima sort of keeping his distance from Nian. He had an opportunity there to get a lot closer than he did, but Shengnian, the outer zone, the second outer zone, keeping a good distance away from Kawashima. Let's watch the replay.
Well, Nian has had a pretty solid season thus far, at least for the first event. Sitting in 4th place coming into this, he initiates, he goes deep into that first outer zone. The judges will allow you to initiate middle course so long as you get out to that first outer zone. Now you can see the gap established here, so Nian doing a great job in the lead position. He's not cutting the line, he's getting out to those zones, which indicates that he's following the judging criteria. Now here's another look at it here. You can see Nian is going to come swiping through that first inside clip, reach out to that second outer zone, and then through that third outer zone there, using that that section of the course that the judges really want you to get out wide there to those outer zones, not come into a middle line there and try to run away. That was a big point yesterday in the drivers' meeting, that if they see the lead drivers doing that, it'll certainly be a negative there. But Shang, a good start for him, but now Kawashima has an opportunity to match his lead run as they switch up positions.
Yeah, I think a great point of Shengnian's run there was as he went past the first inner clip, he really got the power down well. You can see the back of the car squat down, heaps of smoke pour out, and he drove down the hill. That part of the course is actually fairly downhill, powering away from Kawashima, keeping Kawashima at arm's length. So Kawashima probably going into this battle with a bit of a deficit. So you can see there the lead car is always on the right of screen in the, so there is, so Kawashima's on the right. The right lane is the one with the chicane. Of course, if you do see the car on the left of screen sometimes look like they jump the start, that is a legal thing, a legal tactic that they can use if they think they need to be able to catch up the car in front. Okay, here we go. Second run now. Kawashima in the yellow JZX100 leading, Nian following. Here they come down the course, entry. Once again, great line from Shengnian. Now, what is going to happen here? You can see Kawashima running a bit wide, not getting the power down. Again, same thing. Shengnian getting the power down. Right up on Kawashima's door, around the final hairpin. Great run, both run, lead and follow from Shengnian. Let's watch the replay.
Well, interesting here at the start, you're going to see Kawashima is going to miss this first outside zone, and I think Shang was anticipating that he was going to get a little bit deeper there because he's going to fall back on the line a little bit. See, he was pushing out towards that zone.
Yeah.
Now he falls back here, but Kawashima overshoots that inside clip by a long shot, giving an opportunity for Shang to come back. Shang makes a little bit of a mistake right there on angle coming through that center section, but many more mistakes on Kawashima's side in his lead position. Now, if you compare the lead to lead, Shang obviously won those two. Now, as far as the chase is concerned, I think Shang had a little bit of an advantage there as well, and it should be a win going to Shengnian.
So that's a safe bet. Here we go. So Shengnian 1, 2, and 3 in favor of Shengnian. So Shengnian in the gray JZX100 moving on to the top 16.
Nian also has my favorite autograph. I got an autograph from him yesterday.
What does his autograph look like?
You know, everybody's got, you know, the kanji and all kinds of, you know, stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And this is Nian's.
Okay, Ryan is writing it right now. He's just written down, it's Nian in all capital letters. And that's it.
That's it.
That's great. It suits his personality.
Yeah, totally.
It suits his car. That's perfect. I love it. All right, moving on. Next battle now. Imamada versus Minoa. Now, this car, Shinji Minoa, see the Imamada in the S14, Minoa in the 34 Fairlady. Now, this car is actually powered by a V6, but it's the GTR engine now. It's been changed over. So Imamada this time leading, Minoa following. Really close entry there. Minoa right up against Imamada's door. Imamada lacking a bit of angle there. Minoa straightening up, losing the drift. Minoa slowing down. So Imamada completing the course. Minoa just coasting down the course. What happened there? Was something broke or a misshift? Let's watch the replay.
Well, it was a good start for Minoa in the chase position. Very aggressive as they both initiate. Ima Maeda goes deep into that zone, and right here you can see attacking on the inside, but then shutting down is Minoa. So he had an opportunity there because Ima Maeda went a bit long on that first inside clip, but obviously now it's going to be an incomplete for Minoa, whether it was a misshift or a mechanical. It seems more like a mechanical because he was hobbling off course. Yeah. And he will likely either bow out of competition or call a competition timeout in order to try and assess the vehicle. But either way, he's got a fairly large deficit after run number 1.
Yeah, so completing the course there, Minoa, I'm not sure, it doesn't look like it's under power. That part of the course is downhill, so he's able to coast down. He has reappeared into view, so the car is running, but how much it's running or not, you can see there's the banner, Hey Man, which is Shinzi's shop name and also former team, of which one of our judges was actually a member, Hey Man, back in the day. He's just slowly driving past the judging stand. The car is running. He's probably on the microphone right now, sort of talking to his crew and deciding what to do. Ima Maeda returning to the start line. So Minoa slowly returning to the pit area. No, he's actually returning to the pits. We're trying to give himself some time to see what he can do, because he does have the opportunity to take a 5-minute competition time out if there's something wrong with the car that can be repaired in that time. Of course, going into this battle with a massive deficit, you can see they're shutting it down after the first inner clip and coasting to the end of the course. It's a bit of a shame. This car, one of the most highly engineered and well-presented cars. It doesn't matter if it doesn't run.
So just talking to the judges over here, they're on radio comms with Kevin Wells, the competition director. We're waiting to hear from Minoa and his team about whether or not they're going to call a competition timeout. You can see in the background there, he's trying to make his way back, it looks like to the hot pit, but as of right now, he does need to get to the line. If he doesn't, they'll call an automatic competition timeout for him because of the run of show, if they don't get right back to the line. And I imagine that that's what's going to happen until we hear from him.
Run of show meaning keeping the show going.
Keeping the show going. So if they, I mean, it's clear if they don't go back to the line that there's something wrong with the vehicle. So either they're out of competition or they need to call a competition timeout. So a lot of times the competition director will just call one for them if they don't return back to the line, just to give them the benefit of the doubt.
There you go. Obviously, they've got a lot to think about if they need to repair the car. You can see it in the backgrounds there. Just to the right of screen of those mountains, there still is a little bit of snow. This area, you can sort of see in the background there, cleared areas of the track. It's actually ski fields. All right, so we do have confirmation now. Minoa retiring from competition. So that is a scratch for Minoa on his second run, which means that Ima Maeda in the black S14 will be moving on to the top 16. That's a big shame for Minoa.
Yeah, he was second in points coming into this event, I believe. So
that's right. He had a great performance at Suzuka Twin Circuit, our previous first round of the season. So that's going to put a dent in his overall standings for the series this year. So Minoa, he would have been one of my top 3 or 4 for this round if you're going to take bets, but unfortunately either let down by the car itself or something might have broke on it. We've had quite a few breakages so far, quite often drive shaft or propeller shaft related. Of course, this circuit, you have to drive it quite aggressively. You're heavy on the accelerator, off the accelerator, back on the accelerator. There we go. So Ima Maeda just completing his second run. Of course, if Minoa retiring from mechanical issues, of course, if Ima Maeda can't complete the run for some reason, so there we go. he's okay. So if Imamita wasn't able to complete his run, obviously he would have to have a mechanical retirement too. What would happen in that case, Ryan?
Well, he just needs to show that the car is running. So if he were to come down and spin, he wouldn't lose the run or anything like that. It's more procedural than anything else.
What if he couldn't actually start off the start line and it was a mechanical?
Then we would have an open bracket.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, so next drivers now. Takahashi versus Minowa. Now Minowa, that's Masayo Minowa. That's actually Shinji Minowa's wife. That's her personal car there. And we have Takahashi leading in this run. So here we go. Next run now. Takahashi, great speed from both these drivers. Okay, it's looking pretty good so far. Good angle from both of them. Now Takahashi pulling away slightly. Minowa stalling up a bit, doing her best to keep angle on the car. Good lead run there from Takahashi, but Masayo Minowa just sort of stalling out. Once again, the place we see people screw up the most is that inner clip. Let's watch the replay.
Well, it was a really happy day for her yesterday. This was our first qualification in FDJ, and she's taking on a very strong competitor here in Takahashi. And you can see right out of the gate, Takahashi fills that first outer zone. Nice and tight on that inside clip. You can see lacking the angle is Minowa in the chase position. And then right there, basically almost doing a pretty severe straightening that might result in an incomplete. So big disadvantage after run number one. Takahashi will now have to go back and they'll switch things up. And Takahashi will probably want to take a measured approach here. Not sure how much experience he has in driving with Minowa in the chase position, but certainly there is some risk there with the slower vehicle, and just needs to modulate it accordingly.
I mean, anytime you talk to Masayo about, how do you feel today? Are you going to do all right? She's like, oh, I don't know. It's going to be okay. I don't know. I'm a bit nervous. And she's always like that. She's always like that. But put her behind the wheel, and she's getting better and better. Like, I think she's not really used to the competition environment. Yeah, which is completely different to just thrashing out with your friends.
Right.
So, but I think that's just a matter of getting battle hardened and getting used to the nerves which you get when you get to a competition. Yeah, but that part of the course, that inner clip, there's a lot to do there. You're very busy on everything. You're busy on the steering wheel, busy on the gearbox, busy on the brakes and the clutch, trying to get your power down, just trying to modulate the clutch and the accelerator to avoid too much wheel spin and slowing down, which we have seen people do. You're getting the back of the car squatting down and powering down that hill. It's a very busy place to be. Right, here we go, second run now. This time, Masayo Minowa leading. Takahashi left of screen, following. Right, here we go, start through the chicane. Masayo Minowa leading. Down the straight, up through the gears. Good initiation from both of them. A little bit hesitant there, looks like, from Takahashi. Might be, yeah, we see once again, Minowa slowing down a lot. This is a really good strat there from Takahashi. I think he knew she was going to go very slowly. You can see they're right up against their door over the finish line. However, there was a bit of a hesitation there from Takahashi. Let's watch this replay and see what happened.
Well, here you can see Minowa comes through the chicane down into the initiation. You can see Takahashi from the onset takes a pretty conservative approach here. Like you said, I think he knew that she was going to be a little bit slower, and right there she slows up quite a bit, almost straightens out the vehicle. Now Takahashi has to make an adjustment here, and he does lose some angle in the vehicle, but yeah. I think that when you compare both chase runs, he's still going to get the advantage on those chase runs, and clearly had the better lead. So I think that will be a win for him, though that was a sketchy moment there for a second. But a lot of times the judges will notice that was because of the lead driver, yeah. And because of that, it will be more fault on their side.
Yeah, so good strats there from Takahashi. Should result in him getting the win. So here we have the result: 1, 2, and make it official, 3 results in favor of Kazumi Takahashi in the green JCX 100 Chaser. He'll be moving on to the top 16. So Masayo Minowa, much better result for her from compared to Suzuka, which she did also enter, getting through to the top 32. Hopefully we'll see her again next round at Fuji Speedway. So Takahashi moving on to the top 16. our next two drivers lining up right now. We have Kazuya Iizuka up against Toshiharu Kazama. That's Kazama on the left of the screen, Kazama of Kazama Auto Kazama. And Iizuka, had a bit of a chat to him this morning. He said he's not feeling too confident the car has been giving him a lot of trouble. Big 2JZ, massive Borg Warner turbo on that car. It's a real chainsaw of an engine. All right, here they come. So it's a double S15 2JZ battle. All right, great entry from Iizuka, nice and deep into the outer zone. Kazama, bit of a straighten there for him. So Iizuka continuing on his good lead run. Kazama sort of lost his rhythm, lost his momentum in the chase position. And once again, sort of wobbling over the finish line. That was a bit of a shame there. Let's watch this replay.
Yeah, Iizuka kind of gifted an opportunity here. I hope his spotter will let him know what transpired in the chase position, but you can see Kazama just has a big mistake right there after outside zone 2, and then again here, another big straighten. That's an incomplete on his side, so Kazama having a lot of work to do now. He's going to have to hope that Iizuka is going to make an equal mistake in the chase position as they mix things up again. Here's that straightening again from inside clip number 1. There was also a secondary one, which was the first one after outer zone number 1. So struggling a bit there in the chase position to keep the car in drift is Kazama, and now they will switch up positions as they go back to the hot grid and into the start line area.
Yeah, so good lead run there from Iizuka in the white car. Just kept his momentum up throughout the entire course. It's a good run overall, but Kazama, yeah, we saw him yesterday as well in qualifying when he had to do his qualifying run in the wet. He just seemed to, his first qualifying run was slightly becoming wet. He came down the course, sort of began to enter, just sort of went, no, and didn't actually drift the rest of the course. He's taking this run very conservatively. This whole competition, he's a very conservative driver. His car still is very pretty though, so I don't know if he wants to keep it that way or not, but not really sure what his mindset is. He doesn't seem to take opportunities unless they seem really good for him.
Driving-wise, you mean?
Driving-wise, oh yeah.
I thought you were making a claim about his personal life.
No, actually, his personal life quite the opposite. No, I mean, if you've ever, most people would have heard of Kazama Auto. You know,
yeah.
He's been involved in drifting for a very long time. But I guess being slightly more conservative in his approach these days to the driving. Whereas on the other hand, we have Iizuka, notorious former street drifter, the mountains around his hometown. And here we go. But, oh, looks like Kazama. Wow, okay. I take my words back. Big entry from Kazama in the lead.
Passing opportunity.
And throwing it too hard. Iizuka making a big correction. Iizuka overtaking and completing the runs. Well, I mean, there you go. When, like what I was just saying there, Kazama, when he was in the lead there, huge, big flick, massive angle on the entry, but messing up on that inner clip. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, big initiation there, not able to hold the angle. And then right here, let's talk about a passing opportunity. You can see right there, Kazama goes very, very long on that first inside clip. Now, the inside clips in general are the only opportunities to pass legally. You can see here Iizuka does overtake him after Kazama shuts it down, but after that big initiation, I think Kazama knew that he needed to do something very, very extreme. He went a little bit too extreme, wasn't able to hold the angle in the car, overshot inside clip 1 and then shut it down, and so Iizuka gets the win.
So the result there, 1, 2, 3 judges in favor of Kazuya Iizuka in the white S15 Silvia. He'll be moving on to the top 16. All right, so we're not even halfway through the top 32, and we're seeing some great battles here already. Is that me? That is me, isn't it, making all that wind? Yeah, like Ryan said before, we do have a flap on the side of the tent, which we could potentially lower, but that would mean that none of us could see anything. It's a bit of a shame. I'll do my best to put my hand over the mic. Okay, next battle we're about to have now, Jin Harino versus Saito. Well, we have a red flag, we have a start line issue. So their red flag. Relaying to the drivers that was a problem with the start. Harino versus Saito. Both of these guys also do a lot of circuit racing. They're out here today. See that car Harino built freshly this year for this competition. Saito's 180SX, competing in last year's competition, but it's undergone a lot of development since then. Sort of hard to pick between these two to see what sort of result we're going to get. We're about to find out. So Harino in the S15 leading. Very wide entry for him. Saito right up on his door. Is Saito going to hold this angle? No, he's not. He really had to get on the handbrake there to make that inner clip. The lead run from Harino looks pretty good. Once again, Saito throwing it way too hard, taking out that second inner clip. Saito really badly misjudging his speed and angle on this course. Let's watch the replay.
So Harino, a good start for him here as he breaks through the chicane, comes down into initiation, rolls into it, comes out of that first outer zone a bit early, but look in the chase position there. You can see Saito really shallowing up on his angle, straightening out through that first inside clip. Harino back around to that second and third outer zone, and then right there again taking out that inside clip up onto the curbing there. So going a bit tight. The judges want to see you graze that inside clip with your front bumper, and as far as your back bumper is concerned, just getting it to the curbing and not going off course. But unfortunately there, Saito, a big mistake from outer zone 1 into inside clip 1 with the big straighten.
Yeah, it's places like this that you can really see the amount of experience these drivers have with tandem battles. The guys who have been in many tandem battles before, you can really tell in the following run, they're able to judge their distance and what sort of angle they need to put on in order to keep up with the car in front. Of course, this particular course, the first half of the course on the power, then a slow down into the hairpin, which is one technique you need to master. But then the second half of the course is on the power. So there's two completely different ways to attack a course. And of course, the first half of the course is the most difficult. Of course, we saw last year guys like Yokoi, who are really good at those sorts of chase runs, performing really well. And on the other hand, again, guys like Mad Mike, who just go all out whenever it comes to a following run, doing well in their situations. So you really can't go halfway when it comes to the following run here. What they say in Japan is hampane, which means don't go halfway, you have to go all the way. All right, second run now. Whoa, really wide for Saito. Too wide, off into the dirt. Oh, almost rolling over. That could have been really bad there, Saito. Jin Harino completing the run. Okay, he's safe. That could have been really bad there for Saito in the 180SX.
It looked really interesting from the onset. You can see Saito coming through the chicane, blasting down the front straight, and then right here, it starts to go awry. He goes off course on initiation, goes into the dirt, and then right there, with a little bit more force, you might have seen that car actually flip over. So thankfully that did not happen, but we do have quite a bit of debris on the course right now that's being swept up, and obviously that will be all she wrote for Saito.
Well, Saito driving off the course, so he is okay. That could have gone a lot worse than it did. That particular part of the course, rollovers not uncommon. So we can look down to the initiation cones, the 3, 2, 1, right next to the 2 marker. You can see there's a bit of a dirt drop there. That's where Saito went off. So we could really see that he had a lot of speed.
My favorite brooms.
Drop the old the JDM brooms. Yeah. I think it's gonna be fairly obvious there. So push him right for Jin Harino. 1, 2, 3. So it's a fairly obvious result there. Yeah, so what makes that part of the course so dangerous is that we saw him, as cars come in at full lock, you know, they hit that dirt wall with the left rear quarter, but usually they still have lock, the wheels facing to the left. And what happens is when the rear of the car goes into the dirt wall, it flicks the car around, and because the wheels are already facing to the left, the car spins around and it makes the car want to go up the hill and roll over. So if you do see that you're going to be going into that wall, you have to be really on the ball. It's like, oh, I'm going to hit and wind off your lock, which can save you from rolling over. So that could have been a lot worse, but Saito lives to fight another day. And Jin Harino moving on to the top 16. Well, I do believe our next driver, Morozumi, is a retirement. Where is he? Is that him there? No, that is him. Okay, he's just up the road in the pit out box. Here he comes, okay. So our next two drivers, Kuniaki Takahashi versus Morozumi, you see there in the S15 Silvia. So Takahashi, super duper duper OG drift driver here in his 2JZ powered Mark X. Morozumi works at a company that builds some of the best drift suspension in Japan out here in this car, which has been campaigned in various drift competitions for a long time, so this should be an interesting battle. Here we go. Starter walks away. 3, 2, 1. Here they go. Takahashi there on the right of screen in the yellow Mark X. Morozumi in the blue S15 Silvia. Very conservative entry there for Takahashi in the lead. Morozumi getting really tight in there, but that's going to lose all of his momentum. But Takahashi also messing up there. Losing his momentum too. Takahashi great. Oh, and a big understeer down the hill for Morozumi. Wow, that run was all over the place for both those guys.
Yeah, kind of messy here from both competitors. Takahashi, even as the lead driver, an unimpeded view here, is not able to fill that first outer zone. Ever so important here, but then Morozumi dives in on the inside, almost takes the line away from Takahashi. Then you can see Takahashi there, because of how early he got into that first inside clip, shoots out long, kind of straightens coming through outer zone 2 into outer zone 3, and then another straighten there by Morozumi. So kind of messy all around from both drivers, possible incomplete for Morozumi, and hoping we'll clean it up and run number 2.
Yeah, that was not great from both those guys. That's sort of one of those runs where you wish you could just sort of reset it. Just do that again. It was not that great. Of course, they still do have one more run, this time with Kuni Takahashi following. And he is one of the more experienced drivers here, so he should do fairly well in the following position. However, Morozumi, you can see there, very aggressive driving from him. He saw an opportunity to dive in and try and take that line away from Takahashi. It really could go one way or the other with these two. Great looking car there, the Mark X G's version. So that is actually a factory bumper. That is not a body kit. That's actually a factory bumper and headlight set up on that car. You see there on the right the more orthodox S15 Silvia 2JZ versus SR20. Still lots of SR20s being used in competition here in Japan. Okay, next right now, Morozumi this time leading, Takahashi following. Pick up down the straight once again, wide entry for these guys. Nice following run there for Takahashi. Look at this, side by side. Now, what's going to happen here? Keeping their speed up, Takahashi keeping a good equal distance from Morozumi around the entire course. Like I was saying, Takahashi, more following runs than we've had hot dinners for that guy. It was really obvious there, you can see there. Great equidistant run.
Yeah, Kuni does a much better job here in the chase position. You can see he gets right up along the back bumper prior to initiation of Morozumi. He stays very close on proximity. He's matching angle here. And he's following Morozumi on the line that he's on, which is exactly what you want to do. Comes through the smoke line there, maintains that distance just a few feet, pushes towards the end as Morozumi goes long on that last inside clip. So great job by Takahashi in run number 2 in the chase position.
You can see Takahashi reading the lead car really, really well. What makes that obvious is on the entry, you can see on the entry, Takahashi, his rate of angle was almost identical to Morozumi, and also as they came down the after outer zone 2 and 3, in between there, the transition between there, the cars were identical, rotating left and right. That's a really good sign of a skilled following driver. They're able to read the lead car and match their rotation, and it just looks cool. So let's make it official. Oh, we have one more time. Okay, what's going to happen here? Oh
wow.
Okay, so Robbie Nishida in favor of Takahashi, but 2 drivers one more time. Okay, so that's going to be a result of the. That's going to be a result of the. I'm hearing they both sucked from one of the judges. I think he's going to fall back on that lead run. Now Takahashi, like we said, surprisingly taking a very conservative lead run and making some big mistakes there, but also Morozumi making mistakes too. I believe that, Ryan, you were just talking to the judges there. What did they have to say?
Well, basically they...
Actually, before we do that, we have a scheduled commercial break. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Stay with us for the explanation of what just happened. Be right back. All right, we're back here at Formula Drift Japan round 2 at Ebisu circuit. If you're just joining us and wondering what the heck is going on, we are about halfway through the top 32 here at Ebisu circuit for round 2 Formula Drift Japan. If you're joining us from anywhere all around the world, welcome to the place to be this weekend. And we are about to have our one more run between Takahashi and Morozumi. There's been a lot of talk up here in the judging stand for the result, what we just saw. Ryan, can you explain anything?
Yeah, basically the guys that went one more time said one won the lead and one won the chase.
Okay.
And that was the reason why. I think the counterintuitive part of it is that it seemed like Takahashi was the aggressor in the chase, and I think that's what stands out and what stands out in your mind. But in terms of the way that they do the judging, you have to win both the lead and the chase or be better overall.
There you go. Okay, so entry from Takahashi. A lot more speed this time for Takahashi, a lot more aggressive. Entry for him, and a spin for Morozumi on the inner clip. An unforced spin there, Morozumi. So Takahashi this time adjusting his driving style, much more aggressive entry this time, more speed. Morozumi maybe not prepared for that compared to last time, and spinning out after the first minute clip. Let's watch the replay.
So much stronger lead run for Takahashi this time around. Snappier initiation, better into that first outer zone, though he doesn't fill it completely. Glides through that first inside clip. There's Morozumi spinning out in the chase position. Good transition back around to that third outer zone, and nice and tight on that last inside clip. So good lead run from Takahashi, and now we'll switch things up.
That was a bit of an odd spin there from Morozumi. Let's see what he does here. It looked like he was just sort of half on throttle, because there was still a bit of smoke coming off the wheels there. So just, maybe not reading the course well, and not using the accelerator in the right way to adjust the car around the course. Yeah, this particular track, there is a lot of, as you can see there, a lot of elevation changes. Now, the way the track sort of works, the start line is downhill, then it sort of flattens out a bit, and then it goes downhill again all the way to the outer zone, and then even more downhill around the inner clip, and then sort of slightly downhill, and more downhill, and then sort of an off-camber left-hand hairpin. So it's a difficult track to drive, and does require a lot of concentration when it comes to accelerator, clutch, and brake work. So Morozumi going into this with a fairly big disadvantage after that spin, but he does get the lead now. Takahashi's previous following run was very good, very consistent. That's what he does here again. So up through the gears, both drivers entering very well, very wide for Morozumi. And once again, another spin in the same position for Morozumi. Takahashi, a bit of a smoke show to complete his run over the finish line. So a double spin for Morozumi. Looks like he got a bit tilted after that first run. In the same spot. Let's watch the replay.
Well, here they are leaving the line here. Morozumi in the lead position here. The control is pretty much with him to dictate where this battle is going to go, but comes in very hot, and then right here goes deep into that first inside clip. You can see right there on the inside, Takahashi takes advantage of it after the spin, and now for sure he'll get the win.
So Takahashi, much more consistent driving from him compared to Morozumi. Morozumi much more aggressive out of the two. But yeah, too soon, Junior. Kuniaki Takahashi, 1, 2, 3. This time all three judges in favor of Takahashi. Moving on to the top 16. As the wind picks up here at Ebisu Circuit. It's been windy all day here today. At least it's not raining like it was yesterday. We had rain and wind and frogs and plagues and all that sort of stuff. It was pretty crazy conditions yesterday. You can see there how strong the wind is. So it's nice and warm though. We have nice amount of sun, nice blue sky, sort of what you call Sega clouds, like an old Sega game. So it's like bright blue sky and big puffy clouds. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Up in the high country of Japan.
Yeah, nice location up here in the mountains of Fukushima. Here we go, next two drivers now. Koichi Yamashita, the winner of round 1, versus Tetsuya Iha in the Crown Athlete. So another big body Toyota battle, double 2JZs. All right, nice entry for both of these guys. A little bit wobbly there for Iha. Iha trying to tuck in. Iha, he's going to run wide here. You can see they're slowing down. Yamashita completing his run so far really well.
Oh boy.
And wide once again, Iha.
But you can see a lot of people really struggling to link that first outer zone into that inside clip. Either too shallow on the line, resulting in being too tight to inside clip and not being able to make a round, or going too deep. And that's what Iha does here. See, he takes that shallow line and then he overshoots that inside clip. Now he's playing catch up here. Yamashita doesn't really get out to that second outer zone, but he's way far ahead. And with those two mistakes in the chase position, Iha will need to really step up here and hope that Yamashita has a poor chase run.
Yeah, drifting is not really a case of that whole slow in, fast out philosophy that a lot of racing drivers would use. You really do have to maintain your momentum as best you can, using the best line you can. It's really obvious in that run there between Yamashita and Iha. You can see that Yamashita taking the right kind of line to keep his momentum up, which allows him to get the power down and accelerate up really quickly. But you saw that Iha taking the faster line, but that results in him a much slower exit. And an almost non-existent tandem. So, really good example of the right and wrong way to take this course. This time Iha in the Crown will be leading. This car there on the right of screen, the Toyota Crown Athlete. These are used as police cars over here as well. So this is sort of the, in the States you have the Crown Vic, this is the Crown Athlete. It's basically the same car. Instead of being by Ford, it's by Toyota.
I think it's a way cooler drift car though than the Crown Vic.
The Crown Vic, yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
If I got, have you ever been pulled over by one of those?
No. The previous generation, yeah.
Yeah.
So they can be quite intimidating on the street. So this time, okay, Iha. Look at that entry there from Yamashita. Great angle. Watch him. He's gonna do like we've seen before. Power down. And watch the transition here, flick back, equal sort of transition. Yamashita slowly pulling up to Iha's rear bumper. So once again, like we saw there before, Yamashita, again, one of the more experienced drivers here They've done plenty of tandem battles in the past, and you can see his strats there exactly right up against a guy like Iha. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, big initiation in the chase position by Yamashita. Now, even though he's trying to catch up here, or he's giving a little bit of room, it's not the closest chase from Yamashita. I think he wins the comparison of the chases overall just because of the mistakes that Iha made. And clearly Yamashita had the better lead run. So just on paper there, that should give him the win.
Yeah, that big flick on the entry there for Yamashita was really great, even though it was a following run, throwing it down, 100% commitment. Well, let's see. Okay, so it is official. 1, 2, 3 in favor of Koichi Yamashita, otherwise known as Champ Yamashita. Back in the day, he was a very, very winning kind of driver. And might be continuing that on from round 1. Suzuka Twin Circuit winner from the Drift round 1, and on his way to winning round 2. We'll see what happens. Okay, we have our next 2 drivers now. Yanaguida versus Tasaka. So this is going to be a Silvia SR20 battle. Both these cars SR20s. Keeping it legit here in Japan. S13, SR20, S15, SR20. Tasaka in the chase position all the way down from Hiroshima. It's a long, long drive from Hiroshima to Fukushima. But here we go, entry. Great speed from both these guys. Look at Tasaka, but Tasaka, maybe a bit too much speed, over-rotating. Oh, that's a shame there for Tasaka. That looked like it was going to be really good for him. He was coming into the, and once again, wow, okay. Binding up and stopping just past the second inner clip. That was all over the place.
I was sensing that from Tasaka from initiation right there. You can see he's going to take out that, he's going to go deep into that zone, but he has a lot of momentum and then too much angle there. Yanaguida out front, not the prettiest lead run, but you know, doesn't spin, doesn't have an incomplete there, and then there you go. That pretty much solidifies it.
Or in this case, good enough is good enough for the lead car, Yanaguida. Yeah, that's pretty messy right there, the transition back. But yeah, as you can see there, where is Tasaka? He's not even in shot. And stopping there, so there's going to be a massive disadvantage for him. So a bit of a shame there. Do you want to turn your clipboard around there so that if you put your paper like this, it's going to blow that way. See, it's like you know, come on. See, the wind is. The wind is blowing from our right. It's blowing down the front straight from the mountains. So if you turn the paper on your clipboard, like so, the clip is on the right, the paper will blow left. So you can, yeah.
Good job.
Come on, I thought you were. It's just professional.
I'm just suffering.
It's not fun conditions up here. But hey, look. What do they say? A bad day on the slopes is better than a good day at work. We're out here, we're at Ebisu circuit, we're watching some of the best drifting in the world, or as Clarkson would say, in the world. And here we go, second battle between these two. Tasaka, nothing to lose for him. Big entry this time. Huge angle for both these guys. Tasaka tucking in, right up against Yanaguida, right up against Tasaka's door. The battles are so good, I'm falling over my words. Look at this follow run from Yanaguida. That was a great, even though he could have backed off. Aggressive run there from the Silvia, the bright retina searing green S13. Watch the replay.
And I'm kind of digging this run from Tasaka. He makes a little mistake outside of outer zone 1, but you can see filling that second outer zone. Nice snappy transition back around, but Yanaguida keeps him right in distance there. Nice proximity. And because of that big mistake from Tasaka in run number 1, Yanaguida should be moving on.
He should be. There you go. 1, 2, and 3 in favor of Yanagida. That's a massive shame from Tasaka. Unfortunately, too little, too late for him. I know him as Mori-san. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Hello, that's us there. We're over on the right-hand side, left-hand side of screen. This is the tent yesterday, which nearly went flying in the crazy wind and rain that we had. See their conditions, lovely. Looks like a video game, doesn't it? So we've seen some great battles so far in the top 32, and which has resulted in some interesting battles which are coming up in the top 16. One of which is going to be Andrew Gray versus Mad Mike in the top 16.
Big one.
It's lit. It's going to get crazy from the top 16 onwards.
Gotta get lit.
Gonna get lit. It's lit here at Ebisu. So we're about to line up. So we already have one more time to go. The previous battle we saw between Nick Wilson and Taguchi ended up in a one more time. And also we have another run between Oshiro and Mori after a collision on their first run. So you can see there, that is Nick Wilson there from Australia. Just warming up his tyres in his JZX 100. So we're going to see there one more time. So after that collision between Oshiro and Mori, it was determined that Oshiro was at fault, which means that Mori has been given time to fix his S15 if it has any sort of problem with it. So before we get to them, we're going to run this one more time between Nick Wilson and Taguchi. See there, the front straight of Ebisu circuit. So this is what's called Nishi course, spelled N-I-S-H-I. And Nishi just quite simply means west. So this is west course. Of course, here at Ebisu we have west course. We also have east course, north course, and funnily enough, we also have south course, which is Minami, which is, you've probably heard of Minami course, which is the course which is always used in D1 Grand Prix. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Those other drifting competitions in Japan. If you've ever seen that video of Daigo Saito doing the jump, that's the course. That's south course. So Nick Wilson lined up on the start line. This is actually a borrowed car. This car belongs to Sheng Nian, who is also competing out there today. We saw him in the top 32. He won his battle against Kawashima. We're going to see him in the top 16 as well. This is Sheng's like tier 2 car. So it's only about 450 horsepower, very basic build. But Nick, very used to this sort of car. It's the sort of car he drives all the time. So very comfortable in this big JZX 100 chassis with this kind of horsepower. Okay, they're lined up. Yeah, the wind has kind of died down right here. It seems to be blowing it's blowing from behind us now, so we're not feeling it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice.
It's actually much more comfortable.
Oh, it's so good now. Okay, so yeah, ladies and gents, you're not getting the horrible sound of wind blowing through the... Yeah, that was... Okay, yep, press the button. All right, here we go. Next battle now, 3, 2, 1. This is a one more time between Wilson and Taguchi. This time Wilson leading. Up through the gears. Good entry from both these guys. Filling the outer zone, Nick Wilson, Taguchi. Now, Taguchi's following run, not great so far. Nick Wilson's lead run, though, kind of slow. Allowing Taguchi to catch right up to him, right up against his door over the finish line. Now, this is sort of a repeat of the first run, isn't it, that we saw before?
Yeah, Taguchi is having a bit of an issue maintaining the line that Nick is putting down. Nick initiates. You can see he's going to go deep into that first outer zone. Taguchi's on an inner line, a much tighter line, almost gets caught up here on that inside clip. Nick is going to get out to outside zone 2. He's going to leave it a little bit early, but overall this is a pretty good lead run by Nick just in terms of the line and the angle that he was able to put down in the lead position. Taguchi did close the door towards the end. This is him taking that shallower line here. You'd like to see him get out to that outer zone with Nick Wilson. Better job here by Taguchi, but again, Nick out front, smooth, consistent transitions, and hitting at those zones and the inside clips pretty well. So he did his part in the lead, but now, you know, with the lower powered vehicle, he'll have to hope to put up a fight here against Taguchi, who's always a contender at these events.
Yeah, Taguchi's car very well set up. A lot of grip on the back, which we saw there before. He can run away from Nick on the start line. Nick's car with a bit of a power deficit there. Yeah, that run we just saw there, it was kind of like, oh, he's doing really well, but like there's a lot of buts there, which sort of, I think that's why it's resulted in a one more time. I'm seeing a similar sort of result. But this time, Taguchi's following run, not quite as bad as it was in the original run. So if this battle goes in a similar pattern to the previous battle we saw before, gonna have to say that Taguchi might have the advantage, but you never know what's going to happen.
Well, if I was Nick Spotter, I'd be telling him to get off the line a bit early here, give himself a little bit of an advantage.
We saw that, but they did both start at the same time. So Taguchi up through the gears, chainsawing his way down the straight. Okay, it's looking pretty good so far. Good angle from Taguchi, lead car. Now once again, watch this. Nick Wilson, Nick kind of wobbling, falling back a bit. This time about a 4 or 5 car length distance between the two. Nick Wilson also running wide, doing his best to keep his speed up and catch up. But I think, Ryan, that's going to be a decided battle there.
Yeah, it's not a perfect run from Taguchi. He misses outer zone number 2. But because of the gap established and the fact that he did a decent lead run in terms of line, I think that should give him an edge. I don't think you can say Nick won the battle of the leads here just because of the gap and the lack of proximity. So Taguchi did have a mistake in his chase as well, but he did maintain better pressure than Nick. So I think I agree with you that this one is a bit more decisive.
Yeah, once again, it was kind of like he's doing well, but like it looks good, but there's a few buts in there. But of course, we do have to. It's a battle only between two people. It's going to have to go one way or the other. So 1, 2, and 3. So there you go. There's your result. Kazuya Taguchi, the winner of that battle. Nick Wilson bowing out in the top 32. That's a bit of a shame there for Nick, coming all the way from Australia for this battle. But Taguchi, he's going to have to step his game up in the next battle, I got to say. He can't keep driving that way and expect to make it all the way through.
So this is the second half.
Yep. So just before the commercial break, we saw these two battle. Oshiro on the left of the screen was leading. He threw it a bit too hard, almost spun out, and Mori there on the right in the S15 Silvia came into contact with the rear of his car. And of course, Oshiro was determined to be at fault, so we gave them time. We gave Mori time to make sure his car was okay, and it seems that's the case. All right, here we go. So this time Mori will be leading. So this is going to be another aggressive run, I'm going to say, between these two. Okay, it's looking pretty good so far. Mori running really wide. This is an overtaking zone. Oshiro, that is a legit overtake there for him. 100%. But once again, Oshiro running wide. There was a chance there for Mori to take it back. But Mori spinning out.
Well, it's probably going to be a
wow.
It's probably going to be a one more time because Oshiro was at fault for the contact, but then he wins this battle because Mori is going to get a little bit too pitted here, go way offline. There's the pass on the inside. So that's an automatic loss of that battle, right? Unless he were to overtake him back.
He could have done it here too. You could see that he's like, oh, I got a chance, and lost it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think on paper that's a one more time.
Could be. So I wonder if we can get another replay of that. Yeah, that was, you could, so.
Because it's basically 2 zeros in, well, you got to, yeah, well, yes, it's 2 lead zeros. Yes, so that should be one more time.
We just got a head nod. There you go.
All
right.
If you have a chase 0, then you could at least judge the lead runs.
Right.
But you can't do that in the.
Oh, so we had 2 leads. You're right. Yeah. Okay. So what Ryan's saying there, if I understand right, is, ladies and gentlemen, Oshiro spun out on his lead run, which caused Mori to crash into him. So that was a 0 lead run. But we just saw there Mori ran really wide on the entry and was overtaken by Oshiro in a legitimate passing zone and then spun out after that. So that's going to be 2 lead run zeros. So that will result in a one more time, as you just saw. So we're going to have one more time between these 2. But before we do that, next graphic. Put the next graphic up. Anyway, it's Miyoshi versus Shinozaki. There we go. Hayato Miyoshi. Now, Miyoshi entered the Suzuka Twin Circuit round, crashed in practice and wasn't able to make it out. But very aggressive driver. We saw him driving yesterday in practice and also qualifying in the R34 Coupe. It's not a GTR. He'll be leading Yoshinori Shinozaki. Shinozaki jumping to start, which is okay. Look at that big flick there, Miyoshi. Shinozaki, but he's right there. He judged that start really well. Flick back, second outer zone into the final in clip. A bit of lack of angle there for the following car, Shinozaki. Great lead run overall from Miyoshi.
Yeah, this is probably the best initiation flick that we've seen all day, at least what I've seen. Very, very quick rate to angle. Holds that angle, fills that outer zone.
Nice.
Shinozaki kind of bumping around back there in the chase position, trying to close the door. You can see filling that second outer zone is Miyoshi, and the third outer zone. Very tight there, so good lead run from Miyoshi. Shinozaki's going to have to come up with something very strong. As you said, as he crossed through that last inside clip, there was a bit of loss of angle from Shinozaki.
Yeah, so Shinozaki, we were talking about before, the following car can jump the start if they feel they need to. And Shinozaki's car, not the highest spec here. It's still fairly close to sort of street style, because this particular car was his daily driver for quite a long time. The JZX100 Mark II TSJ All-Stars. A few years ago, if you were to search for TSJ All-Stars on YouTube, you would have seen quite a few interesting videos, which have unfortunately since been deleted for various legal reasons. So second run now. So this time Miyoshi, the ER34 GTT is the spec of that car, not GTR. The GTT from the factory was the 2.5 litre RB25 rear wheel drive 5-speed. Okay, second one now. Okay, we have a cone being knocked over in the chicane, just like what we saw there before. It is the easiest cone to knock over. At this point, I'd like to remind everybody, Ryan, remember what happened last year at Okoibuki with
Yes.
with the shark? Yeah.
Yep. The shark bit himself.
He knocked over, was it 3 times in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happened twice.
It had, yeah. Well, yeah, we've had it happen where people have potatoed the start and knocked over a cone 3 times in a row, which basically knocks you out of competition immediately before you even get to
Potatoed, is that an Australian thing, or is that, I haven't heard that, but I heard you use it before, but
what's the
genesis of
like
that?
It's an online
it is?
thing. Yeah, it's like you're driving. Well, it's like a gaming thing. You're shooting like a potato. Like you might as well be a potato.
Gotcha.
Like you're a potato behind the wheel.
Okay.
Yeah. Fidget spinners.
Oh boy.
And, you know,
Crossing over.
Right, here we go. Look at this following run from Miyoshi. All right. Okay. Yeah. This is going to be interesting. Okay. I would not want to be a judge for this particular run. That was, yeah, a lot of stuff happening on that particular run. Now, let's watch this replay. And we're talking about lead car and positioning on the track.
Yeah, he comes over quite a bit there. He doesn't really take away the positioning, but he certainly had a very interesting approach there. And you can see Miyoshi's just not able to hold the angle. Pretty much drive straight through inside clip number 1. Shinozaki out front as the lead driver here, filling that second and third outer zone. So after a nice lead run by Miyoshi, it looks like he makes a very sizable mistake in the chase position. Right here, let's watch the front wheels. You can see there's right there he straightens out completely, but he had very low angle going into inside clip 1. And then as he drives through outer zone 2 and outer zone 3, he just has a big gap established there. So tough break there for Miyoshi.
He's kind of very slowly heading back. I think he thinks he might have. Here we go, 1, 2, and 3 in favor of Yoshinori Shinozaki. So Miyoshi, yeah, looking promising, but unfortunately for him, getting knocked out in the top 32. .530. So unfortunately for him there, yes, for Miyoshi Shinozaki. Okay, so we have our next one now. It was going to be up against, it wasn't going to be Ichiyanagi versus Masuyama, but unfortunately Masuyama are scratching for this entry. Masuyama, if you watched us yesterday, the teal-coloured S15 Sylvia, he had a lot of problems yesterday with drive shafts, but today it was a propeller shaft which gave up on him. So unfortunately he retired from battle. We have the solo run now from Kazuto Ichiyanagi. GTR engine, RB26 powered 1-via. If you're an old school drift video fan, if you've ever seen the Zeke racing 1-via, sort of the red car with that sort of rocket graphics on the side, that's that car. But it's been spec'd up to Formula Drift specs these days. Much bigger tyres on it, more power. So that is Ichiyanagi moving on to the top 16. So we're back now to our one more time battle between Oshiro and Mori. This has been fairly dramatic so far. We had a crash in the first run where Oshiro spun out. Mori came into contact with him. And then we had on the second run, Mori understeering really, really heavily after the outer zone, giving Oshiro a chance to overtake. And then Oshiro again running wide in the second inner clip. And Mori also spitting out. So very dramatic first run. Let's see what's going to happen this time. Okay, so Oshiro leading, Mori following.
Oh, what happened?
Nice close entry for these two. All right, filling the outer zone, both drivers. This is how it was supposed to go last time. Mori right up against the door of Oshiro.
Oh, boy.
Mori, what's happening with Mori? And straightening up. That second outer zone, Mori. What the heck happened there? That was looking so good. Mori's car right on the edge of grip.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Our camera guy lost that first shot, but basically it was a good start on initiation. Great job by Oshiro to fill that outer zone, but it's really going to come down to this right here. That little section, Mori just has a really tough time. Would have been interesting to hear, just, hypothetical, if Oshiro would have gone really wide here and Mori would have passed him on the inside, then you would have basically had a 0 in the chase, or an incomplete in the chase and an incomplete in the lead.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because if a chase has an incomplete, the lead still needs to finish the run. But if by chance he overshot an inside clip and the chase passed him, then I guess you would have 0-0.
Has that happened before?
Not that exact thing. We have had a double pass once.
Right, yeah.
Like many, many years ago.
Now, so once again, yeah, these two providing very interesting battles. Oshiro versus Mori. Now, Oshiro, all the way from Okinawa. Always a very aggressive driver, always showing a lot of aggression in his battles. On the other hand, though, Mori, also a fairly experienced driver. Big gap in age between the two of them. Mori's got a big grey ponytail. Oshiro, a fairly young guy. But, Mori's car, this S15, it's a fairly new build. It looks like it's, if you had to sort of compare it, it's more like looks like a razor blade sort of car. It's very, very sharp in its response in both handling and engine response wise. So that can, but you know, if you're under control, that can be a good thing. But as we saw there, that was a very weird error there from Mori. You can see there that car, the S15. With Oshiro, if you had to compare, his car's more like a big shotgun. Here we go, second run there between these two. Mori this time leading. All right, good initiation from both these guys so far. Mori taking a bit more of a shallow line this time. Out of zone, watch the flick back here. Now Oshiro a long way back. But Oshiro's entry was, his line on entry was much better than Mori's. Sort of a conservative lead run there that time from Mori. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit poor on both sides. Oshiro does not have the greatest chase, but Mori did have that incomplete on run number one. You can see Oshiro just really not attacking. Oshiro, or rather Mori overshoots that inside clip, doesn't fill outer zone number three. Big gap established though, so, you know, not the greatest by both sides, but I think the incomplete will be the factor there.
Yeah, it's a shame. These two, it's been some interesting battles between them so far, but it could have been a much more interesting battle between these two, but I do believe we're getting a result now, so here we go. Mori, Oshiro. So Oshiro in the red JZX 100, 1, 2, 3 in favor of him. He'll be moving on to the top 16. So Daichi Oshiro, we do usually see him get through to the pointy end of competition. That's happened once again. Mori might need to take that car back and do some more setup with it. Okay, next battle we're about to see now. Second last battle of the top 32. If you're just joining us now, where have you been? It's been some great battles so far. Of course, we do have the top 16 to the finals later on today. Okay, our next two drivers now. Yusuke Kusaba on the right of the screen. Yoshida on the left. That's super-made Yoshida. Styles for miles, 15-inch wheels, candy glitter. It's sort of a fairly big difference in style of these two guys. Here we go. Kusaba leading. Yoshida right behind him. All right, it's looking good so far. Let's see if Yoshida can keep up with him. Yoshida, bit of contact there. Yoshida coming into contact with the rear of Kusaba's car and spitting out. Kusaba completing the run. Ain't no thing for him, completing the run cleanly. Yoshida coming into contact with the rear of Kusaba's car. That's an unfortunate thing for him right there. Let's watch the replay. So right on the inner clip was where the contact was.
Yeah, let's take a look at this here. Kusaba out front, Yoshida chasing down. Let's watch the lead driver. See, I think my instincts, let's see if we can get that back. My instincts are telling me that maybe that might go against the lead driver, because if you watch the rear wheels, he's on a very long e-brake pull into inside clip number one.
Yeah.
As Yoshida is closing like he should be doing. So, and we know that drivers are that's not a decel area though. I mean, there's going to be some slowdown there, but if you do a lot of e-brake there when you shouldn't, then maybe the lead driver could get fault, or I'm asking the judges.
Ryan's just leading over, asking the judges to clarify what they think. So let's watch this again. So similar angle between these two. Now, it looked like you saw from the top angle there, Kusaba was on the handbrake for a long time. However, from that angle, you can see that the momentum of his car, he was keeping his speed up. And literally, as soon as he got that little bit of contact there, he was back on the accelerator very quickly. So it's an interesting case here. That was a fairly aggressive following run there from Yoshida. That's not the sort of thing we've seen so far from a lot of other drivers, getting that aggressive, that tight in there. And again, other people have spun out in there, that exact same spot.
And we're not hearing from the judges who's at fault here, so it could be a situation where they don't assess fault at all, or they assess fault to both drivers,
okay,
potentially. Which maybe that's the middle ground there, because if you have Yoshida closing and Kusaba pulling a very aggressive e-brake, then perhaps it's justified to go fault for both, and then maybe it would come down to this run.
Okay. Speaking of this run, here we go. This time Yoshida is leading, Kusaba following. Here comes the entry. All right, Yoshida filling that outer zone. Now Kusaba a fair way back. This is a great lead run from Yoshida. Kusaba tucking right in there over the finish line. Now, I would not want to be a judge for this particular run. Let's watch the replay.
Yoshida in the lead position, coming down, initiates before the third standing cone. Maybe could have been a bit more aggressive, putting the rear of the vehicle into that outer zone. Kusaba keeping his distance here. Yoshida does not fill that third outer zone. So not the strongest run by both guys. Here's a look at it from the other angle here. You can see very heavy e-brake pull from Kusaba, generally speaking.
Yeah, that's not something we've seen a lot of other drivers do. Of course, you know, the white wheels make it fairly obvious, but he is on the handbrake a lot more than a lot of other people here. But we do have the result there. 1, 2, 3 in favor of Yusuke Kusaba. And of course, I'm saying that he's pulling the handbrake a lot, but that isn't something the judges are necessarily looking at. You can be on the handbrake as much as you want, but if the car has the right kind of speed, line, and angle, then that's not really an issue. So the winner, Kusaba, moving on to the top 16.
But they would prefer that you're not. If somebody can do the exact same thing
Of course.
without doing that, then
Yeah.
it's preferred. I've heard that's always been a thing that Lantain has pointed out to many, many drivers that are very e-brake happy.
We say in Australia, bum drags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they say that in the States or no?
Bum drags?
Yeah, we say bum drags.
Nah.
We pull the handbrake for a look, like,
But Kusaba, I mean, he's a very honest e-brake puller. He's got the white rims.
he's got the white wheels, yeah. Right, next run now. Wachi versus Tang. James Tang in the BMW 2JZ powered. Watch him try and tuck in here. Not quite getting the line right, knocking over the inner clip. Wachi flicking it back. Limiter action here for both these guys. That run there from James Tang, it looked like it was going to be good, but yeah, he misjudged that and pulled up a bit short on the inner clip. Let's watch the replay.
Yeah, he doesn't get the greatest jump out of the gate either. You can see he's already about 3 car lengths back. Tries to close here. You can see Wachi comes off that first outer zone a bit early, and then Tang makes a mistake on that inside clip. Looking a little bit shaky in the chase position, not able to manage the proximity, and also making that mistake from outer zone 1 to inside clip 1. So let's see what happens here as they switch things up. Now Tang will go to the lead, Wachi to the chase position.
Yeah, it looked like James Tang would have had a bit of an opportunity there to tuck his car in with the line he took, but just misjudging it a bit, maybe hitting the brakes a bit too hard, falling up short and knocking over that inner clip. You just see there the golf cart pulling away after setting the pylon back up. So James Tang all the way over from Hong Kong. Of course, also over from Hong Kong, we have Hubert Lee, who had a fairly big, heavy crash in practice, which essentially wrote off his JZX 100.
Yes, which we saw on the way in.
We saw it in the parked out front as we came in, and yeah, it was the wheels were sort of all over the place, weren't they?
Tough break for Hubert.
Yeah, unfortunately, coming over from he wanted to compete in every round this year, but not making it out for round 2, unfortunately. His battleship camouflage coloured JZX. Okay, here we go, second run now. This time James Tang in the BMW leading.
Oh, dang, Wachi.
Whoa, okay. James Tang taking a very, very...
Oh, Tang might get past. Ooh.
Whoa, look at this run. Okay, Wachi not backing off, not phased by this at all, with Tang the entire way. Now, the reason I reacted there when they were coming down the front straight was Tang went almost all the way across the track in front of Wachi's car. I'm going to rewind this shot and watch the replay from the start.
Yeah, very close call there on initiation. Maybe even bit the slight rub, but almost some really visible contact.
They're coming back around. Is there any sort of marks on his car? Looks okay.
They're still waiting on the replay here. Probably having some freak out in the van right now.
They're rolling past the spotters stand right now. Unfortunately, no replay for that one run. But, I mean, ladies and gents, you would have seen that yourself. James Tang really like cutting across the bow of Wachi's S14. But to Wachi's credit, not too phased by that. And for the second half of the run, Wachi was right there with James Tang. So I think for that particular run, we're not going to get the replay. So we do have the result here. So 1, 2, 2 judges in favor of Wachi in the S14 and 1 in favor of a one more time. So unfortunately for James Tang in the 1 Series BMW, knocked out Atsushi Wachi, moving on to the top 16. So it would have been good to see a replay there. Unfortunately, technical issues, we didn't quite get that. So with that, we have an end. We've come to an end of the top 32 battles here. Round 2 of Formula Drift Japan. Ebisu Circuit Nishi course. So we have a full bracket now of the top 16, and make sure you don't miss the beginning of the top 16 when we come back, because the first battle is going to be Andrew Gray versus Mad Mike Woodette. It's going to be a good one. We're going to start with a bang. We've had quite a few good battles so far. We've seen a bit of drama. We almost had a rollover.
And what time do we come back? Do they tell us?
What time do we come back? Kantoku-san, nanji kara desu ka? Just asking the director. 1 1 o'clock. So we will be
1
back.
PM.
So right now, so everyone get out your phone. The time now is, it's 11:22 here in Nihonmatsu, which is the town that Ebisu Circuit is closest to. So we'll be back at 1 o'clock. So what's that? So it's say 11:30, 12:30. So like an
1 hour and 38 minutes.
An hour and 38, there you go. He did the math. Get out your phone right now. Set your timer, your countdown timer. 1 hour, 30 minutes. I think is a safe bet, just to round it out. If you want to be precise, you can do that too. So we'll be back then for the top 16 all the way through to the final battle of round 2 at Ebisu